Thank you everyone for taking your time out of the weekend to join this virtual global Boomi community meetup. Uh, Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are joining from around the world. On behalf of the entire Boomi community and the Boomi user group, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Ayan Kumar Pan. I'm working in Everpure, formerly Pure Storage, as an integration architect, and I'll be your host for today's session. And along with me, Miss, I have a couple of co-hosts. Miss, I would like to introduce you all to Prakash Reddy and Deep Chakravarti, who will be hosting this event alongside me. Thank you, Prakash and Adip, for taking up this activity to help me out for this event. We are absolutely thrilled to see all of you joining us from different geographies, industries, backgrounds. And by the way, we are all uh, united by a common passion for integration, automation, APIs, and most importantly, digital transformation. So, based on the day-to-day activity we all do for our respective organizations. So before we begin, and before I share the agenda for today's session, I would like to run a small question, and I would like all of you to participate here and share your responses on the Zoom chat. Um, the question is like an icebreaker, you can say. So I would like to, I would like to know from where you are all joining, probably the city and the country. So, for example, you can write Bengaluru, India, or Kolkata, India, or New Delhi, India, like that. If all of you can please write it on the chat, that would be great. Okay, we have from Bengaluru, Kolkata, uh, then Virginia, USA, awesome, Hyderabad, um, then Australia, nice. Then Delhi, India, then Ahmedabad, Raurkela, Pune, Dubai, then Mexico. Awesome. So we have two out of three hosts for the FIFA World Cup here.
So I saw one guy from Argentina. I cannot miss it.
Yes, the defending champions. Then we have from Chennai. So we have a couple of folks from Chennai. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you everyone for responding to that. Miss, it's nice to see all of you from different geographies. So this is what makes the Bhumi community very, very special. And it's amazing to see the global community members joining for this virtual event. Uh, Okay, so let me briefly walk you through the agenda for today's event. So first of all, so we will have the keynote presentation by Adam, who is a senior platform architect in Boomi, and he will share some great insights on the AI. I mean, including the build and its maintenance, and once the session is complete, please feel free to ask key questions, and Adam and us will try to respond as much as we can. Then after that, we will have a special message from our event sponsor, TGH. So Mr. Sumit and Miss Sivangi will walk us through the quiz and Miss and the brief intro of the organization TGH. And that will be followed by a fun community quiz. So we will have a few questions, and and based on the answers, so there will be winners and some prizes will be there. And finally, we will have the closing remarks. So the quiz will be primarily hosted by Adip, one of our co-hosts, and the closing remarks and few transitions will be managed by Prakash, who's also one of my co-hosts. So before we begin the keynote presentation, Miss, I would like to thank our event sponsor TGH again for supporting this community initiative and helping us bring these knowledge sharing opportunities, Miss, across the broader integration community. Now, without any further delay, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you all to our keynote speaker, Speaker Adam. And I would like to thank Adam again for taking your time out of your very busy schedule
Mhm.
and helping us gather some insights through your informative sessions. Um, and over to you, Adam.
Oh, thank you so much. Give me one second. I'll share my screen. We can get ready or get started. Okay, so can you see my screen? Fine.
Uh, yes, Adam.
Okay, sweet. So my name's Adam Biedenbaugh. I work at Boomi. I'm a senior platform architect. Um, I've been here probably maybe like 7 years, and just I've gone through various roles throughout the company. But today, platform architect, which really just means I help guide customers. I'm directing them. I'm really trying to set everyone up for success. Which just how do the pieces actually go together? So today, I just wanted to talk about something that really I know it's top of mind for a lot of people. Just the industry's changing a lot, and just what does it mean for us? What does it mean? Things changing. So like, you hear about things like the death of SaaS. What does agentic development really, mean and also mean for like our profession? And then, what can we do to prepare ourselves as we go through this? So it was Christmas break 2025. So maybe like 6 months ago, I sat down at my desk and I was like, you know what? I'm going to build something. And I've been using Claude more or like kind of the chat stuff. But I really at that point I only kind of sort of used like GitHub Copilot, and at least even before then, it was really only ever like edit like a single um, a single file. It wouldn't actually go through the entire repo as it would today. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to build something. Went through a couple of ideas, trying to figure out, what's that one thing I was like, this would be cool to build. So I'm generally like, I would say I'm pretty good at, Python, Java, like those languages. But I really wanted to build an iOS app. Didn't know Swift, which is just the language. So I was like, you know what? That'll be kind of a good stretching. Like, hey, I get the gist of what's going on. Let's try to put these pieces together. Um, so decided that, and the app I really wanted to buy or build was just a music app. Like I use Spotify, which is just a music app, but I really, for the most part, listen to the same music. I mean, I'm in my 40s now. I just listen to what I listened to like 20 years ago. So I still kind of do that. I'm like, I still have a whole bunch of CDs I bought. I've already, I burned them locally. Um, why don't I just kind of like build an app that I can like listen to stuff locally? I did add a few more things to that, but that was what I was decided. And I was like, surely this isn't going to be the hardest thing. I mean, it's a music app. I feel like most people have this all figured out. So probably in the first week, got everything finished. It was great. And then I kind of kept listening to it, and I kept like months into it, I still kept noticing these little bugs. And there were just little things that like, I don't know, after the development was over, that there was this maintenance, these things that were still coming up, these little errors. I mean, it's my app, so like I'm the one that has to go fix it. So there was a part that, yes, this was a lot of fun to like build something new. But now, like once the fun building part got over, like I actually had to keep maintaining it. So what actually ended up happening was like, yeah, it was like, I ended up spending a couple of $100, with Claude, uh, a bunch of evenings trying to figure out like the bug, or there's a couple of them, but the bug that was there for the most part, like it didn't really catch. I mean, it kind of did, but it kind of didn't. And I had to spend a fair amount of time. And so like even going forward, there's still a lot of maintenance. I mean, when you talk about like any kind of repos or open source libraries, they're maintainers. Like that's actually what the main thing they're doing. But The other option was, well, I could have just gone to the App Store, paid $5. I could got an app that was probably about the same. Um, and someone else was maintaining it, and I could have been up and running like that day. So yes, I did want to go learn some stuff, but like through this kind of simple thing, like actually the build thing took significantly more time, cost a lot more money. I mean, granted, this is on personal scale, not a massive enterprise, but I think it can be something that gets extrapolated pretty easily because like we all see this. And I, as a developer, I'm like, you know what, this is really fun. Let's build it. Because that's like, I don't know, like there's something really great about being able to like make something and say you made it. But I don't know, sometimes there are drawbacks. So when we look at the industry, just what does it take for a project to get done? Usually the development cost, the part up front before it even gets deployed to production is usually about only 20-30%. Sometimes it can be more, but in general, that's about how much it is. The maintenance costs is really the part that's the long tail. Like it's the one that keeps going on for years and years and years. And that's going to include like fixes, like, hey, we found something was broken. You're going to have to upgrade stuff. Hey, we found out there's a log4j vulnerability. You kind of have to like drop whatever else you're doing, go fix it. And just depending on the severity, you'll need to have people support it. And then if there's any kind of rework, any kind of new features that need to come, that all gets put down in that maintenance cost. So like, yeah, buildings getting cheaper, but like maintenance isn't. Sure, we can still do some things to make maintenance cheaper, but it's still the bulk of the cost. It's really not the development. So when we start talking about like, well, what does this really change for our industry? So just this is kind of high level, but I mean, first, we're probably there's probably gonna be a lot less simpler tools. So like so many things I can just easily build now. So one day our CISO sent out an email to us saying something about like, hey, we really want to make sure you're checking what kind of Chrome extensions you're using. And I really liked having like, my Gmail and what's the other one? The Google Calendar, just kind of up in the browser so I can see what's going on. And I was paying for that, just a couple of dollars a month. But I was like, that's a good point because I mean it was a security question, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I probably am just going to go build this. Why not? Or even like uh, recently, Google, when you export a presentation to PDF, it makes these massive files because they don't compress the images. And I was like, I can't email these. These are such a pain, especially when they get over 25 megabytes. So another little tool is I just made like something that I could right click and compress it. And so these are small things that like, they used to be something you could sell, but like today, at least for developers, you're probably not going to. If I don't know your people like my wife or anyone that's a little more like normal, they'll still honestly, I think they'll still buy it. They like a lot of what we do really want to apply to them. We'll probably start doing more personal tooling. We've been doing this forever. Like, hey, we have this bash script that moves some files around or restart some stuff because we want to like get, we mess up some stuff. We want to be able through the testing to get back to that pristine state. Well, we're probably still doing those personal toolings because if you extrapolate it a little further, I mean, that's what CI/CD is doing is, hey, we've got some automation and we just need to do it. But here we're going to do it where, hey, we actually will spend that extra bit of time to write that little bit of code to do something personal that this doesn't apply to anyone, but it is something that will, save me 15 minutes a day. And like by doing that, I mean, that saves you like 2 weeks a year. So that can really pile up, even if you just spend a little time of it. I think the people probably most at risk are probably like web devs, and really especially the ones that are just doing the commodity type stuff, because man, it is so easy to build a website now. But I mean, you're still going to have people like, let's say the Apple website or any like other one that really has complexity to it. Called maybe for a while, maybe at one point, but right now it can't. And so lastly, I just don't like through my experience, I just don't think SaaS is actually going anywhere. So like, yeah, I've seen articles and other people talk about SaaS is dead, But like in reality, I mean, no one's going to rebuild S3. It's far cheaper to just use S3 and go from there. Maybe for like a large organization, like Google, you might just do it. People aren't going to rebuild SAP or Oracle. There are these complex um, applications that they don't do just this one thing. And, the sheer complexity would take to actually build these out. Like, I don't think anyone, like any one company really wants to. Um, so before I talk a little bit more about Boomi, I thought maybe we'll start with Red Hat because I I've always found like being on the developer side, I always find Red Hat like a good lesson because yes, yes, I can just get a free copy of Linux. I can get Ubuntu. If I want something even close to Red Hat, I can get SUSE or SUSE. So there are options out there that are free. So with all those, like, why do people still use Red Hat? Um, this is not an exhaustive list, but like the first is compliance. Like if you're in a regulated industry, like you need these compliance. And they're not cheap. So like for FedRAMP moderate, this is one that Boomi has. It generally costs somewhere between the range of like 500,000 to 1.5 million to actually obtain that certification. So like, yeah, you might build it, but like all these other steps, like FedRAMP, like we have entire organizations of people who actually are responsible for making sure all these certifications, all these compliances are being done. So, I mean, that one, Red Hat just gives you, they've already done the work for you. You can say yes. If you kind of grab something from another vendor, they're not going to have the compliance. So I think that's out of all these, I think that's probably the biggest one. Um, Life cycle stability. Yeah, let's say we do go with like SUSE or something open source. Well, what happens is those distros, they change a lot. They're pushing out new changes constantly. Some, yes, like maybe like Ubuntu does have some like longer term releases. But in general, like RHEL gives you 10 years predictability, even more if you decide to pay for that. So that means like, hey, when we push out changes, we know that all of our stuff is still going to work. And we don't have to kind of keep changing it year after year or month after month whenever we actually do have a new patch coming out for RHEL. Um, so like just the stability is there that like you probably can't get. If you do go another route. And then, I mean, finally, really, I think this is the part that like generally you miss is just like these things that are free really just means they relocate the cost. So yes, Red Hat, you have a subscription, but sometimes that subscription is also significantly cheaper than actually paying the people to actually do the work. So you're going to have people that will maintain the repos. You're going to have to like occasionally you might have to backport a fix, which just means, hey, we take the repo and then we make some changes and then apply it to ourselves. Or, like those things that happen at 3 a.m. You're going to have a support team that can manage this stuff. And they're gonna have to be a more skilled support team to be able to do all this versus, if they have like a Red Hat subscription, they can just make a Red Hat ticket and say, hey, this is the issue, and Red Hat can come in and address the issue, and it makes the companies just a lot easier. So I think with just the Red Hat lesson, we can talk about Boomi, but high level, it's these things that like that are beyond the build. Like there's much more going on. These are the things that actually cost a lot of money. So when we look at Boomi, our platform, a couple of different views that we're going to talk about, but like security and some compliance, like we've got SSO built in. SSO always sounds so simple, but there's for sure complexity. Each company does it slightly differently, meaning Microsoft Entra, Okta. There's a standard to it, but there's also some differences. You'll want to have, privileges, environment access, so who can have access to prod, who can have access to dev, governance, and all that stuff. So like just setting up a structure, like a platform that's secure, that's a lot of work. And so like when you do purchase Boomi, you're getting that. Monitoring performance, we've got, logging that's available. So like depending on what you're going for, or what we're talking about, like if we talk about just the platform, so that's you go into platform.boomi.com, you accessing all the different things that we have, like the website. We've got logging there. The platform itself is highly available. There's redundancy. It's scalable. If we go a little slightly different, where we're talking about your runtime, or you're talking about the public cloud, those are also built in a way where, they can be scaled up and out. You can get your work done. There's low latency, which allows just faster throughput. We have runtimes that are multi-tenant. So you're able to do something and build something just much quicker than if you actually had to build all this stuff from scratch. Same thing with like our control plane, and that meaning like not the product API control plane, but like the platform itself. You have one view, so platform.boomi.com. You've got libraries that are all in one place. You've got connectors, they're really all in one place. You want to manage users, they're there in one place, depending on the product. So even with this, we're still putting stuff in one place. Managing is efficient, it's easy, and you're able to loop it in with your SSO. And then as we go to like the UI, the AI part, you're going to have machine learning connectors that we have. We've got mapping and step recommendation. Boomi Companion, something I'm going to talk about in a second. It just kind of helps build with integration designs. An AI orchestration, which is going to be like Agent Studio, like what are some ways that we can actually like build stuff a little quicker? We can create agents a little quicker. We can have stuff that is actually have governance around it. We can see like, hey, what agents are being used? Do any of them seem like something bad's happening? We can check all those things. Boomi Insights is a product uh, that comes through Boomi Professional Services, but it's a dashboard. Really uses all of the Boomi platform APIs, but it allows you to have greater insight on what's going on. Hey, what processes are running? Where are they running? Are there any like security concerns, stuff like that? And then finally, Boomi Scribe, it helps with documentation. It looks through your process, writes some high-level documentation, and makes just that stuff a little easier, which I know I personally found it really beneficial. And then, lastly, I think these are really some of the more important parts is just like the support that you're going to get. So you're getting upgrade not only to the platform but to your runtimes, to those features that you have. You have something that is able to scale quite large. And then when security issues come up, those patches come out. So when we kind of look at what all those different parts are, like the left side is going to be the build, the right side is the buy. So on the left side, these are all the different parts that you kind of have to start thinking about. So some are going to be on both sides. So you got integration maintenance, integration dev costs. You're still doing that as the customer. Um, but like there's platform capabilities, like security compliance, the monitoring, that control plane that I told you about, the platform support. That means, more support engineers are going to have to be available as in your organization. The cost for any software. So any any additional software that you purchase that doesn't have anything to do with like maybe some like an open source model, you'll have to purchase that, and then infrastructure cost. That all adds up because you're paying for it all, and sometimes that's the right plan, and sometimes that's what you want to do because that build happens to be something that's a little outside the box, a little something that's special to your organization, and that might be that secret sauce that like makes you a better organization. But that's not always the case. A lot of times we just need something that kind of works. And so the buy, you'll notice there's a lot less stuff there. And so some of that cost are really like, well, many customers are paying Boomi to to implement this, and we actually can share that cost and make it actually cheaper in the end for our customers. So you're still going to have to build the integrations. So you're going to have to maintain them. That software cost is going to be, your Boomi platform. And if you're using a runtime for yourself, so it could be a dedicated cloud services or managed cloud services, or it can be, customer hosted that you're doing. Those are all infrastructure costs that you'll need to pay for. But at the end of the day, that buy is often much cheaper, because you're not having to do all these different things. So one thing that doesn't quite fit into the whole talk, but I really want to talk about it because I think it fits in a little bit, is just Boomi Companion. It's something we came out with at Boomi World this year, and it's a skill that allows you to build Boomi integrations a little quicker, a little easier. So, if you're using Claude Code, Open API Codex, GitHub Copilot, um, or really any coding agent that supports skills, you can go ahead and make use of Boomi Companion. What it is under the hood really is a whole bunch of Markdown, then a couple example um, what do I call it, bash scripts to kind of show the LLM, hey, this is how you do it. But baked into it, you've got best practices, you've got like a component life cycle mapping and testing. One thing it does that actually is really cool is so it builds it. All that is going through the what's it, the component API. But to test it, it can't click that little test button that you have that's up in the right. So what it will do is it will deploy it. It'll click test and whatever atom you told it to deploy to, and then it'll check back and say, "Hey, did it work?" And then from there, it just iterates. So what it's building for is integration, EDI that's within there. It can use event streams and it can also use marketplace, which is where it pulls down just some recipes that are like pre-built templates that get you kind of 90% of the way there. But I don't know, I've definitely seen people on my team, especially like in the EDI area, make use of this and find it really helpful because like with the EDI, the spec is there. Like the company will tell you, hey, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what the mapping's going to be. And so things that will take like an hour, 4 hours, even for like some of our best EDI people to do some mappings, they're actually able to use Boomi Companion and kind of pair that up with the spec, and just get it down to like 10 minutes. So they're finding a lot of value. And I think this is just an area where I'm gonna just say, like, we don't know. Like sometimes you're like, oh, what's the plan? But I think we just find this something that's interesting. This is where the industry is going, and we think it's helpful. So, I really, if you have time, if you can just Google Boomi Companion, or I'll put a link in the chat a little later. I think it's something that actually is a lot of fun and kind of can be helpful. So as we get to here, I really want to turn it and say, like, well, what does all this mean for us? Because I mean, you hear some companies say like, hey, they're not going to hire any more developers because they don't need as many anymore. Which I don't know. In some ways, I feel like that just happens to be kind of a clawback from where can we overhired maybe 6 years ago. So what are the things that we can do for ourselves to actually kind of get through this? So, the whole AI revolution, you can go three ways. You can go really well. I kind of think of this as kind of like the printing press. You had scribes, and then, well, they ended up being replaced by writers. But I think that was like better work. Like you get to be creative, you get to do stuff, and yet your thoughts and your ideas get to be put out there. Versus a scribe, which they just copied everyone else's stuff. So I think if things go really well, it makes what we can do even more creative and just something that can actually benefit humanity. So really well. Things go really badly too. So like the iPhone, it replaced a lot of industries that we have today. So like used to buy compasses, but like no one buys compasses anymore. Used to buy CD players. You also don't, no one buys CD players anymore. The iPhone does it. Used to buy radios. You don't do that anymore. So there was like lots of swaths that were like different industries that are just gone now, or at least left in their former glory. And then the other one is like, okay, maybe things don't really change that much. And this is kind of like with accountants. In the 1980s, 1990s, Excel came out. And really everyone's like, I don't know why they thought this, but they were like, we're going to get rid of accountants because we don't need accountants now that we have Excel. And That's not really what happened. It was really accountants were able to do more tests, more validation. They figured out like, yes, we can do more, but that didn't mean there was like less accountants. It ended up being about the same. So I think really when we look at what's possible, I really think the first one and third one are going to be the most likely. Like, hey, our industry evolves and we actually get to do something even more creative, something a little even higher level, or maybe things don't really change that much, but we're able to move a little faster, do a few more tests, do something that's more beneficial. So, as we ask ourselves, it's really not so much that like whether you survive, but like whether you position yourself well, like when all this happens. So I think there's probably two questions that are kind of helpful to ask yourself. So the first one is just what's my job? Um, and I think really whatever you do, if you can try to couple your value with revenue, that's always going to make you valuable. It's a little easier when you're like in professional service orgs where you're like, hey, I'm directly tied to revenue, versus maybe another role that doesn't quite have that same tie. Um, but you can also flip it where like, okay, well, maybe what you're doing is making your team more efficient. And by making your team more efficient, you actually are still driving revenue because, hey, everyone's able to do a little bit more. Things are a little easier. Maybe you took some of the monotonous stuff out and you're like, okay, we don't have to do this anymore. You can suggest new products and capability to the team. And I, some products are obvious to think about, and that's going to be like, okay, hey, we have a new feature. Like if we talk about Boomi, hey, let's add a new feature in here. But there's also like parts of Boomi where, well, what a product is like the thing, we sell a customer. So like, how do we position, different packages or stuff like that? Like it's not specifically the product, like in the product itself, but like there are other things that are considered product. I remember like going to one place once, and I never really thought about the product team like that. But I went there. I was just kind of helping out. But at lunch, their product team kind of showed up, and they had like a smoothie, and I was like, "That is cool," because I'm just so immersed in tech to see that, like, oh, a product could also be a smoothie. But really, I really think it takes like take a moment to think about like what is my job and like what can we really do to drive revenue. So at the end of the day, that's always gonna be the thing that like really makes you yourself valuable opposed to other people that you'll have on your team. And then the other second part to kind of ask yourself is like, well, we always need to go that one level deeper that you already know. And I think this will be the thing that actually lets you kind of know when AI is wrong, or maybe even like say, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z because you know it's possible. And when you're asking the LLM, hey, build this for me, it didn't even throw that as an option, but because you know at a much deeper level, these are options. And that's just going to make you, in general, better, more experienced, more skilled. So here, if you're using an LLM, just train like a simple machine learning model. You do this in a weekend, but figure out, hey, how does it work? Because I think by learning on that small bit, it actually lets you know what the bigger area looks like. So you'll figure out how things work. You're in Boomi, so figure out a little bit more about Java. Like I have to talk about like garbage collection quite often. And actually, if you're on like customers where like, hey, we are pushing a large amount of data through it, all of it's real time. Maybe those will be cases where yeah, garbage collection actually really becomes something you need to tune. What does that look like? And then the third one is just well, Boomi also uses NFS file share. And um, here, Mohan, can you stop drawing on the screen? I don't know how to turn that off. Okay. So the file share, NFS, like, well, Boomi uses that. By fault, we just kind of recommend like really mostly the default parameters too. But like, what are different options? What are things that you can do to optimize stuff? And so like, you're going to be able to understand what's possible a little bit more than just asking, hey, Claude, can you tell me how do I fix this? You already know kind of like, okay, I know it has something to do with this. Can we tease these little threads apart? So these are just three options. If there's a fourth, like, hey, what is something that you're really passionate about, something that's part of your day-to-day at work? can I just go one level deeper and kind of figure out what is that little bit? So, and you know, the scribe was not the one that lost to the printing press. The scribe who refused to learn and grow, they were the one that lost. So just challenge everyone to move fast, maintain things, and really keep learning. So thank you. So we'll leave it up. I don't know, Prakash, how do you guys want to do questions?
Yeah. Okay. Do you like to take the questions?
Yeah, I'd be happy to take questions for sure.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple
So,
minutes, right?
one quick question from my end, not technical, but are we able to allow the mic to be turned on for the members if they want to ask something, or maybe we can keep the chat. Okay.
We can
Requesting the yeah.
turn on the mic as well if required.
Okay.
Miss, if anyone
People can
wants to
raise the
ask any
hand.
specific question,
Yeah.
yes, that would be helpful.
Okay. Do we have any special prize or something for people who ask the question as well? I am.
Well, here, I will read one question I did see. So Mooney said the native Boomi LLM offering can be costly. Does Agent Studio provide any direct or native mechanism to integrate with local on-premise LLM without routing requests through a connector? So I don't know all the full details with this product change, but I know we are in the future, and it might be Q3, Q4 this year. So, you know, within the next 6 months, we are gonna support local models. We have a lot of customers that, you know, don't want to go outside their network. They don't want those things, which valid, makes sense. I mean, what we build, you know, this was kind of, we started with the MVP and kind of started building it out. And so I know that's something that is on the roadmap. I don't know the full details of kind of what it's doing, but I do know it will be something that is something that will be kind of in a future release.
Hi, Adam. I
Okay.
have one question.
Hey.
Yeah, this is Anil. I have a question. When we are doing migration, for example, we have tried that Boomi companion for doing the migration from TIPCO to Boomi. Okay, in Boomi, in TIPCO, whatever the code we will get in a zip file. If we upload that zip file, we are able to it can, the cloud is able to create all the process and all in the Boomi account, and it has not created it has taken some hallucinations, and it has created around on 20% is correct. And what is the better way for the migration to be done from TIPCO to Boomi? What is the best practices we can follow in the Boomi companion for migration, basically? Yeah. Got my point? Yeah.
So that's definitely work that Boomi's doing, but also I know other partners are working on, are just, you know, ways to make that TIPCO to Boomi migration a little smoother. I've worked for customers before, being like tech lead, also just more advisory for them doing TIPCO to migration. So and I'm also really familiar with TIPCO, and you know, in some ways it is very similar to Boomi, meaning like, you know, they also have all their shapes on the canvas. They have stuff that are like sub processes. They use a lot of XML. You know, we do too. So I'm gonna say I don't know. I think that's something that people are still trying to kind of figure out like how best to do that. Because you kind of have to say like, well, what do we do? Like in TIPCO, it's done this way, and when you see that, it means it's done this way in like a different language or in Boomi. And so like some of the parts that are a little hard is a lot of times like with TIPCO, everything is much more like almost like a flow control where like everything's always happening once, like it's, or at least it's often that way. So I don't know, they're not always one-to-one. Some of the mappings are a little more different because, you know, they're using XPath is one of like the core things. So right now, I think it's something we're still all kind of trying to figure out, but we don't have like a definite this is the way to do it. But if you come up with anything amazing, definitely would love to hear about it.
Thank you,
I
Adam.
Cool.
Hi,
Thanks for
Adam.
that. Any quick questions from anyone? Yeah, I see someone already.
Yeah,
But a kind request, Vaibhav.
it's okay if
Kind
time is
request to keep it anything
sure,
relevant to the session. Yeah, thank you.
No,
Yep.
his was totally relevant. It was about Boomi Companion. Come on.
No, I mean to say just a highlight
Okay.
for the upcoming questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Adam. I'm Vaibhav. Yeah.
Hi.
I was working with one of the client, and they're like, they we were working on some of the Boomi stuff initially. They had some SSIS integrations, and we moved it to Boomi. And
Mhm.
later, after 6 months or so, right, they came up and approached that, now AI is available. We can give you the cloud access to the enterprise edition. I just want all the pipelines for my migration work to be in Python. We did a lot of things and we were able to do it, like it was as smooth as we can, though I'm not a
Mhm.
Python expert or even in good basic expertise on that. But what happened after that, right, like after 3 months, right, the pipeline starts breaking because of some of the less expertise of us in the Python. With that, right, with today's session, right? What do you think how the governance will be evolving? As in, like, it's not just AI, like, you can build anything, as you mentioned that, building is just 30% or 40%, but
Yeah.
maintenance is the main thing, right? So, how do you think the governance will be evolving for us upcoming?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. So there's one customer I'm working with, and they're really going through the same thing. And I think for them, this is actually a really like I don't know, just eye-opening experience because they're very much a Boomi customer. They gave talks at Boomi World. Um, really, they use it extensively. But they also have people in their organization, which is quite a large one, that do, vibe code. Maybe they're making these like little dashboard apps or, stuff like that, that like they just want others in the customer or others in the company to make use of. So for them, what they set up was this whole like or other kind of like organization. They did put a lot of structure around, hey, these are the things that you need, like if you do want to do that. And a lot of it just gets wrapped up into, hey, we're going to make sure everything's like a Docker container. These are all these additional security that we're putting in there. There is like a bit of a governance board that kind of goes there. So they're putting structure on something that can still be made kind of loosely. But I mean, kind of the flip side, I really think a lot of these like low code tools is, well, there's a part where like we still want something visual. We still want to be able to look and see like very quickly, what does this do? How does it do it? I mean, text is nice, but I still think like, you know, like a map, for example, like what does this data coming in make on the other side? I just think that's really incredibly valuable. And like really, in Boomi, we're making config files ultimately. There's a UI, but it's config. So the code that's always changing is like the stuff that's, Boomi's managing. We're doing all those like security updates. So we're building that and we're building a configuration layer on top. So I don't know, I think there's still value and like you can have both within an organization. But yeah, governance, I, to kind of re-say it and sum it up, I think a lot of it has to do with, hey, you're just going to have to put structure around what is and isn't possible and put limits on what people can and can't do.
Yep. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, I mean, mostly the customer will come back and say that, it's going to be Boomi, because that code was still in QA. It didn't move to the next level of in the environment. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for answering, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, awesome. Uh, and thank you so much, Adam. It's been insightful, and we would like to see you once again as well very soon.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Prakash.
yeah. And I would like to request the participants to actually give some virtual applause for Adam. I don't know if there is any like or clap emoji is there. Feel free to use it. Yeah, if you find the value. And with that being said, I would like to thank the uh, uh, organizer, I mean organizer in the sense the organization that sponsored this event, which made it to happen. So I would like to welcome Shivangi from TGH in order to share the information. Yeah, over to you,
Thank you,
Shivangi. Yeah.
Prakash. Thank you, Prakash. So I would like to start with a question to every one of you. So how many of you have had an integration project go over budget, over timeline, or maybe just not able to deliver what the business actually needed?
Shivangi, all the projects.
Definitely. Okay. So that's what we have experienced in past, right? So that's the problem TGH was built to resolve. Hi everyone, I'm Shivangi Sharma, Associate Director of Boomi Practice at TGH Software Solutions. We are a Boomi specialized integration and data engineering firm. And in the next few minutes, I would like to tell you what exactly we do, why it matters, and why TGH should be your first call when your next integration challenge lands onto the table. Okay, can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, so TGH was founded in 2020 with one clear mission, that is turn integration complexity into business velocity. Here's us in numbers. So you can see 150 plus certified professionals are there across Boomi, Databricks and QA automation in our company. 30 plus active customers across the globe. 50 plus projects delivered spanning app integration, data lakehouse and QA automation. And we operate 24/7 implementation, managed services, staffing, and AI agents. We serve industries including manufacturing, retail, healthcare, logistics, infrastructures. Yeah, next slide, please. So here's where TGH is genuinely different from most integration partners. We have built our own AI-powered accelerators on top of Boomi, and let me walk you through all of them quickly. First one you can see is the InstaFix, which is AI-powered AI incident resolution. When something breaks in your integration layer, InstaFix doesn't just alert you, it diagnoses and helps you resolve it faster with less downtime and fewer war rooms. Next one is M2B Catalyst. If you are on MuleSoft and you are considering to move to Boomi, then this accelerator reduces your migration effort dramatically. And we have helped our customers cut migration time by over 40% using this particular tool. Next one is Boomi Intel. Deep analytics and governance intelligence built for Boomi environments. So your teams get real visibility into process health, bottlenecks, and compliance using this one. Next one is the map restore. So this one reconstructs and accelerates the data mapping tasks, and it helps on complex transformation projects specifically. And last but not the least is the CSA, which is customer sentiment analysis. So it expedites customer data analytics, so business teams get insights and not just the data pipelines. And each one of these tools has already saved a real time, money, time, and midnight incidents. And these are not just experiments, they are your unfair advantage from day one. And here in the next slide, you will be able to see where TGH has actively participated in the Boomi ecosystem. And most notably, the very first picture, you will be able to see the Boomi AI Agent Hackathon 2025, where TGH was a winner, and we got an award for the same. It also showcases TGH present in key Boomi events, including AI Empowerment Day, Boomi Partner Empowerment Day, and internal team engagements, reflecting TGH's deep commitment and recognition as a Boomi partner in the integration community. Yeah. Next one, please. And yeah, we are also deeply invested in the Boomi community. We have published 100 plus Boomi blogs, and we run 25 plus Boomi Tech Talks. We have launched 100 plus Boomi quizzes to upskill the ecosystem. And if you have learned something Boomi related online in the past couple of years, there's a good chance that TGH was behind it. And you must be able to see the Ayan's face on the very top. He was also one of the winners of the Boomi quizzes. And yeah, and here comes one exciting thing. You have the quiz challenge available, which is a small way to celebrate our integration knowledge here. And thank you so much, everyone, for the time and attention. It's been a pleasure representing TGH with you all today. I'll now hand over to Ardeep, who will be taking you through the exciting Boomi Community Quiz Challenge. Over to you, Ardeep.
Just a second before that, Shivangi. So
Okay,
I don't
Prakash.
know who was sharing. Can you reshare once again? I'd like to show something to the community. Can you reshare your screen? Is it
Uh,
Ardeep
uh,
or Ayan?
yes, Prakash, sharing it.
Okay. So if you scroll to the one of the
Last part.
pictures from last slides, yeah. Yeah, this one. Yeah, if you see, I know that probably for TGH, the first one was, pretty much valuable, but for the Boomi community, the one below, which is to the left-hand side, that was pretty much valuable for us. The reason being, I'll tell you, this is a kind of the first ever meetup which happened officially in the Hyderabad chapter for Boomi. I know this is a Bangalore related call, but yeah, when it comes to the Boomi community as a global one thing, yeah. So I'd like to thank TGH from being with us from day one, and then yeah, we are here now, and we'd like to grow. We would actually wish TGH grow further and keep supporting the Boomi community as well. Thank you, Shivangi, and yeah,
It's
for
a
to
pleasure.
the thank you to the participants. Keep your devices handy, and we wanted to test like how far uh, you're listening to Adam actively so far, and yeah, over to you, Ardeep, for the quiz session. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Prakash, and thank you, Shivangi. And thanks to the entire TGH team actually for that. I mean, really appreciate your continuous support to the Bhumi community. And that is what makes these evenings possible now over the time, and hopefully we'll have more. So, okay, all right, folks, take a deep breath. As the keynote session by Adam is done, and I'm quite sure your brains are full of agents, MCP, companion, or whatnot. Okay, right? But it's now my job to find out who was actually paying the attention to Adam's presentation and who was actually scrolling to Instagram in the other screen. Okay, so with all this, I officially welcome all of you to today's quiz round. Okay, the rule. It's pretty simple. Once we launch the quiz, it will have 5 questions, and each one which will have 4 options. Okay, so you will get 4 minutes in total to go through all of them and choose the right option. But the catch here is we are not just looking at who gets the most right. We will looking at who gets the most right the fastest. So accuracy matter here and the speed matters more. Okay. I mean, sorry, I cannot allow you the time to take the screenshot and ask your AI friend for the answer. Okay. So, okay. Okay. Now about the price, right? I think Shivangi had already told us about the I think she told us, or okay, but let me tell you, I think it's about the
Yes, sir.
Amazon gift voucher that we'll be giving out. Okay. But actually, initially when we had the discussion, we thought of giving 3 days package trip to New York and a VIP ticket for the World Cup final. But all the evening we talked about optimizing AI cost, right? So
Well,
we had a huge,
just take us
what,
to Bhumi World. We'd be glad. We'd be glad enough. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we had to have some cost cutting here. Okay. And thanks the community for the understanding. Okay. But okay, last one small honestly check I want to have. Okay. If you happen to be sitting next to Adam right now, I mean, first of all, is how? And second is this is one round of the evening where consulting your senior architect will be considered as cheating, guys. Okay. So, okay, with all this, I finally request Mr. Zoom, can we have the questions in front of our screen? Yep.
Okay, everyone should have it
And
now.
yep. And your time starts now, guys. Okay. I think we are almost on the time, so we can have the quiz removed now.
You want me to end it, RT?
Yes.
Okay.
Adam, you can end it.
We've got 80% so far. Okay.
Yep.
Wait.
Okay. Thank you. So first, I will ask then, how are the questions? Guys, I mean, was it good? Was it bad? You can, reply in the chat. Okay, I mean, no reply, guys. Like, you're not liking it?
I think it was okay. I think it
Yeah,
was great. Yeah, so it's nice to see quite a few responses here.
yeah. Okay, okay. So as we conclude the today's quiz round, okay, we will announce the winner and the runners up in our official LinkedIn post. So keep an eye on that for the next few days. We'll announce it very soon. And apart from that, I mean, it was wonderful to see, such an enthusiastic engagement from the community. We hope everyone enjoyed both the learning and the fun events of today's meetup. Before I hand over to Sai for the final conclusion remarks, okay, I think we will have one more poll regarding the today's meetup. How was it and all? Okay, so Adam, can you?
Yep.
Yes.
Just enabled it. There you go.
Yes, yes. So guys, please log your responses here. Like how was the event for today? So it will encourage us to have some more in the future. We have the responses now, I guess. Yeah,
Yes.
we can conclude that. So finally, I will now hand over to Prakash uh, for the
Yeah.
final conclusion. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
I don't have too much, but yeah, I'd like to just thank one more time the TGH family and to Adam, who was always there whenever we want to, group the community. Yeah, thanks, Adam, for being with us. And yeah, to all the community members who joined us today, actually, irrespective of wherever I saw that people joined from Bangalore, people joined from Hyderabad, from US, from Portugal. you know but yeah, yeah. So I would like to see more people also to be participating and see today I think I saw roughly around 56 something like that. I'm not sure if we cross at 60, but I would like to see we'll cross a bit better number next time, like let's say 70, 80, 90. Hope for the best. And yeah, so thanks Hardeep, Ayan, Shivangi, Adam, and each and everyone from this call. And I see Arun also joined from TGH. Thank you, Arun, for joining us. And Arun posted the link to TGH LinkedIn as well. So feel free to check the chat from a message from Arun having the LinkedIn page. And yeah, uh, let's be in touch and let's meet each other in the next in person or virtual meetup like this. And yeah, we'll stay in touch with everyone. Thank you. Thanks for joining us with the Boomi Bangalore event. And yeah, join the Boomi Bangalore community page if you haven't yet. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Happy weekend.
Yeah. Thanks,
Happy weekend.
everyone.
Yeah.
Happy weekend,
Thanks. Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Thank you all.